You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk, or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your health care while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
Get your free inventor's information. Call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
At St. Jude, our family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
There's a place
out where the fake news is muffled,
past the point where politicians get silent,
where facts don't care about your feelings, where PC is DOA. This is that place. Welcome to the last stop on the right.
All right, what's cooking, last stoppers? We are someone that you chose, despite the many available opportunities to you, to come break a tiny little piece off of your day and listen to the last pod on the right. I am Ben Crystal.
I'm Mike Abel.
I'm glad to have you here at the laststopontheright.com. Tuning into the last pod on the right. We've got some new folks over at KLRNRadio.
Great folks.
Great folks over there have inexplicably allowed us to join their roster.
They're padding that the time slots.
Yeah. We need something to put in on the weekends and
in the middle of the night.
Well, static? No.
Hey, those guys in Savannah.
Hey, those two morons in Savannah. Yeah, because they'll do it. They'll eat anything.
Hey, Mikey.
Real quick, Mikey, pod beer. Before we get to the rapid fire, we're going to do that in a second. It's pod beer time. 3, 2, 1. Pod beer. The benefits of no longer working in commercial radio is, among other things, pod beer. And the hours don't suck. Remember when I told you just a couple of weeks ago that I thought, you know, when the Mueller reports, the summary came out, and it was clearly painfully obvious that they did not have a collusion case against Trump.
Right.
And I said at the time, this has got to be the lowest moment for them since Podesta came out on election night 2016 and told everybody, y'all go home and Hillary will make a statement in the morning.
Right.
Because that was a bad moment for them. Remember, that was when all the crying memes came out. Because all those, you know, they were freaking out. This is, I think they may be in a worse shape now. And it's not even like a passive thing, like an investigation they were betting on didn't pay off.
Right.
This is just self-inflicted damage here. We've got some stories about that in the wire.
Yes, we do.
How bad are things? And we're going to talk about it, but we're going to do the rapid fire before that.
Yep.
Mikey's going to pick out a topic. Hopefully, I'm looking across the studio at Mikey. I'm like, I hope this doesn't completely suck.
No, I got you.
Yeah, but this week for the Democrats, and we will be talking about it during the wire here in a few minutes. We go through the wire, the week in review. See what we did there.
Oh,
yeah. I would say that this week, well, the whole year, though, has been the kind of bad for the Democrats that usually requires steam cleaning. I mean, it's bad. It's like stepping a big old puddle of Maddow on the way into the... Oh.
Did you say
Hey, man, you got some Maddow on your shoe. I don't want to say nothing, but you got some Maddow on your shoe. Rapid fire time, Mikey. Are you locked and loaded?
I am.
Are you ready?
I am ready for you.
Am I ready? Do I have a chance? Let me rephrase that. Do I have a chance at being ready for this?
Yes.
All right.
I think you'll do well.
Okay, so rapid fire time. Mikey, what is my topic for this week?
Okay, you handled last week's very well, the election of movie bit, the 2020 election of movie.
It wasn't a disaster.
No, it wasn't a disaster.
We didn't. Nobody sent fire bombs to the house.
No,
there was no white powder in any envelopes in the mail.
Nope. Well, I'm going to push you a little further into
So we're going to get Rice and Attack this week is what you're saying.
I'm hoping.
Well, that's nice of you. Of all the ways we could boost our profile, I'm thinking victims of a ricin attack, not the best.
Yeah, probably not.
But that's all right. That's
all right. I'm going to push you.
I'm going to make ricin crispy treats.
I'm going to push you into a little further into the entertainment world this week.
What?
All right. This week's rapid fire. You are going to have to liberal a song.
Oh, dude.
All right. Example. I'll give you one. This one's not too bad, I think. All right, Rolling Stones, Between Barack and a Hard Place.
Between Barack and a hard place.
Exactly.
Like that. Okay.
Exactly.
So
you got this.
All right, so I got to do liberal a song.
Yep.
And my example was the Rolling Stones, Between Barack and a hard place. That was a crappy album, by the way.
Your lips weren't big enough there either.
Nothing I can do about it. Well, I go outside and get stung by a bee. Hey, man, you look like Mick Jagger now. You look like Mick Jagger after the surgery.
Yeah.
By the way, just real quick about Mick Jagger, he got that heart surgery. You know where he got it? New York.
Oh, I did know he came over here.
Well, I'm like, what happened to the vaunted socialized healthcare system of the United Kingdom, of which he is a citizen?
Oh, it's still there.
No, I know.
Just open his wallet and pay for it.
Hard not to notice when the rich guys in places with socialized medicine need serious medical care, they come here.
Later. Liberal a song.
All right, so like if I could do like the Talking Heads, like Bernie down a house. So that would be okay.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes, exactly. Perfect.
So we could do like a Beatles thing.
Sure.
Like, Barack Obama's bogus health care plan. You can't keep your doctor now. It'd be like one of those K-Tel commercials. Remember the old K-Tel commercials? That's what this sounds like. It already sounds like that, Yep. And if you act now, we'll send you not one but two. And you'd get like the 8 tracks.
Oh, yeah.
It would be available on 8-track or cassette. K-Tel Records presents the liberal hits of yesterday and today. Keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. Ilhan Omar could get in on some of that Beatlemania, though. Hey, Jude, wish you were dead.
Oh, God.
Who doesn't love the soaring melodies of the post-World War II era? Bill Clinton does. Beautiful girls. Walk a little slower when you're going to walk by me, if you know what I mean. Feel free to bend over that penny, too.
Oh, well.
Hillary would get in on the act. If Bill did, then Hillary's going to. But she'll do like a Blue-Eyed Soul thing, like Hall & Oates. Ain't no waste tired, no, I ain't no waste tired, no, I. My chance has expired, no. Okay, I worked that one a little bit hard. I can't imagine her doing that. I can't imagine her doing that and thinking it was cool.
No.
Because she's that lost. You can get back to hip-hop roots with this classic. White guys, hillbillies and racists, bunch of Russian spies. Pawns for Putin, yo. Put the anti-liberty touch on an Aerosmith classic. Nancy took my guns. Second Amendment's done. What the hell you gonna do when Eric Swalwell comes for you? See the Grateful Dead come alive with meeting with Joe Biden means a bad touch of gray. Flashback to the Brat Pack era with that liberal take on that epic 80s classic. Wanna be a free abortion? All I need is a subsidy. Any life is gonna get a free Lamborghini. How about some of that 70s love? Oh, Nancy, you came and you took without asking.
Barry Manilow. Wow.
Barry Manilow does not deserve this. Wow. You'll be swinging in the Windy City with that Chicago, that violent town. The town that Juicy Smollett tried to shake down. Hey.
He kicked his own ass.
He did kick his own
Sorry.
ass. Remember how little Michael Jackson could groove back in the early 70s?
Mm-hmm.
So can the liberals now. AOC, she can't count to 1, 2, 3. Educated by MTV, dumb commie, she don't understand liberty. See how I squeeze that extra syllable in there? Yeah, Kate tells, they're like, yeah, checks in the mail, jackass. Yeah. We can't leave out the grunge era, Mikey. You need to power out with, you can't say that. It's offensive. It's not PC. Triggering me. Socialism. Free tuition. Russian collusion. Gender fluid. Remember Radiohead, Michael? Yeah. Robert Francis O'Rourke sure does. 'Cause I'm a creep. My name's Beto. What the hell am I doing standing on the bar? I got DUI'd here. And what better way to add a liberal touch to the Godfather of Soul than getting Rev Al Sharpton up in front of the microphone? Uh-oh. Stupid honkies! Coast to coast, easy to scam. anyone. I rip off America.
Your dance was great.
Was the dance good?
Yes,
Kids, you are so lucky this is not on camera.
Sorry.
The hair plugs may not have worked out, but that doesn't mean Joe Biden can't still channel the king, Mikey. Love me, ladies. Love me, girl. Let me smell your hair. That's what I got. How about that for a rapid fire? Kids, if you'd like to complain about the material you heard here on the last pod on the right, make sure you send your, direct them to KLRN. Yeah, but we're going to be like Monday afternoon, we're going to get an email. Hey, guys, we're not sure this is working out.
We're going with the static.
We've decided the static has a better beat, and you can dance to it. Whole week in review on tap for you right now. Mikey, let's check the wire.
All right. Video has surfaced of Representative Ilhan Omar telling a meeting of Islamo-fascist hate group CARE that 9/11 was just, quote, some people did something.
That was all. It was just some people doing some stuff. World War II. It was just, spot of unpleasantness with that German chap. As much fire as she is taking, and she deserves it. Can you imagine a more defining moment? Everybody in America was traumatized.
Right.
To an extent.
Right.
And then she's out there defending herself against charges of anti-Semitism by minimizing the worst thing that most Americans who are alive can remember.
Right.
I mean, you got people that are, oh, no, the Kennedy assassination. People say the Challenger explosion.
Nah.
I would argue for Americans who are currently alive, 9/11 remains their worst. I mean, it wasn't a Challenger explosion. It was far worse. I'm not minimizing it, but it was far worse.
Right, right.
9/11 was Pearl Harbor. And in fact, twice as many people died on 9/11 as did at Pearl Harbor.
Right.
And for her to come out like that, it's like, are you this tone deaf?
Well, she's also defending herself against criticism over her remarks by retreating to the usual charges of Islamophobia.
Bibbidi bobbidi boo.
I know, even accusing Representative Dan Crenshaw of dangerous incitement for quoting her excuses for the 9/11 terrorists.
When AOC came in, because, she's Chiquita Khrushchev, they're sisters before misters. So she came running in to defend Ilhan Omar.
Right.
And she actually accused Crenshaw of doing less for against terrorism than Omar has done.
Right.
And Dan Crenshaw is a Navy SEAL who lost half his sight to an IED in the Mideast,
right,
fighting against terrorism.
Right.
I mean, this is willful stupidity at some point. But they think that this is going to work. They are at the expense, and we talked about it a little bit earlier. This has been the Democrats every week. It's another week that's worse than the week before.
Hold my beer.
I mean, this is every single time.
That's one.
They are shoring themselves up. I think part of it is sort of the Trump effect. They like the celebrity.
Right.
Ilhan Omar speaking to CARE ought to already raise some eyebrows, because CARE, those are some bad guys.
Right.
But saying the things she's saying, and then AOC, who is the tip of the Democrat spear these days.
Right.
Comes in and says, well, she's done more for, to help victims of terrorism than Dan Crenshaw. Every time she says something, it's like, oh, God, what does she say? How the hell did that fall out of your pie hole?
Well, after 8 years of exile in Ecuador's London, England embassy, WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange was bounced from his digs and into the waiting arms of London's finest. Yeah. The activist was ostensibly arrested for violating the terms of his bail, but faces potential extradition to Sweden on sexual assault charges and the United States on espionage charges related to helping disgraced ex-Army Private Bradley Chelsea Manning.
I am Chelsea.
His or her attempts to hack Department of Defense computers.
Love a couple of things. Love Assange or loathe him. You have to admit, he'd make an even uglier chick than Bradley Manning does.
Yes.
And that's a stake. Do you see him when they brought him out? I mean, he's in there for 8 years. And as I understand it, became just, the Ecuadorians wanted him gone. He was just intolerable.
The horrible roommate.
Yeah, he's that guy. He's the roommate that you're like, oh, dude, there was this one time after college, I lived with this one guy, and he was an absolute slob. Assange. That's him.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've got him, and they sent him out. And he's got this whole like Father Time beard face going on.
Rip Van Winkle.
Yeah, whether you like him or you loathe him, you have to admit this dude is a grade A creep.
Yep.
I mean, he is. The Swedes, they dropped the charges on that sexual assaults.
Right.
And they're talking about they can still reintroduce them.
Right.
I don't necessarily think there'd be much point.
No.
Because the U.S. wants him. They're going to get him, and they're going to bring him over him, and he's going to do some time.
Right.
Well, he ought to play his cards close to the vest in the next few days because things could get interesting quickly, and I know this next story touches on that.
You're absolutely right. Among those who seemed particularly excited to get their hands on Assange, Hillary Clinton. She told reporters this week that the WikiLeaks founder must answer for what he's done. Nana.
I mean, a lot of people want to tar and feather this guy for a variety of reasons, some of which are good, some of which are not. I know the Democrats would very much like whatever plane they put him on to crash in the Atlantic before he gets here.
Right.
They really,
right.
It's very apparent how badly they don't want this guy to talk to people.
Right.
Which is sort of a pointless endeavor at this point. I'm quite sure she's very nervous, but if Hillary Clinton, who has more bodies on her than the Gambinos, she's using language like that. When she uses language like that, the pucker factor for Assange better jump.
Yep.
I mean, he'll be on his way to arraignment. And, hey, why are we detouring here? Is my hearing in Fort Marcy Park? Yeah, you're in the Vince Foster courtroom. If I'm not one of these guys, Hillary Clinton's been proven to be involved in the death of 78 different people, all those memes that go around.
Right.
But Hillary Clinton is bad. She's bad news, dude.
Yep.
She's bad. She's an angry, vindictive, and vicious, powerful woman.
That she is.
She is the worst example of what power can do to someone.
Right. And
if I'm Assange, I'd Uber to the courtroom if I was you, dude. Yeah.
The election of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to an unprecedented fifth term, causing problems for more than just Islamic dictatorships in the Middle East. Democrats in the U.S. are none too happy to see a man that they've derided as a racist and worse win another term.
Did you see Beto come out there talking about Bibi? He's like, Bibi doesn't have the best interests of the Jewish people at heart. He's a racist. Whatever. It's one of those, toss-off comments that Democrats come out with because they don't like him. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, when I want to know about the inner thoughts of a Jewish dude in Israel, I want to talk to a Irish American who's pretending to be Hispanic.
That's the nickname of Beto.
I can't blame. Bibi is combative as hell.
Oh, yeah.
But can you blame him?
No.
His
Right.
brother died during the raid on Entebbe. So this dude, he remembers what it's like.
Right.
And they have that collective memory. If I'm Bibi, I'm looking at the U.S., and I'm thinking, well, Trump is a friend. You can make the statement that Trump is a friend of anybody as long as it benefits Trump. I have that sense with him.
Right.
And I know some people that are listening to the last pod on the right, whether it be through our site or KLRN.
Right.
I love the job that he's doing, and I don't object to that. I actually think he's a very effective president, but this is still not a guy. I don't really think there's that many people that are being honest with themselves saying that Trump is a good guy.
Right.
I mean, he's a pal. So I'm sure Bibi, who's already probably fairly paranoid just being an Israeli, when you're surrounded by people who actually say, in some cases, in their national charters, like Hamas, we want these guys dead.
Right.
Then you're going to get I think you might get a little squirrely. So Bibi looks over here, sees Trump, knows Trump is a friend, but how long does that last? And if Trump were to lose, and I'm going to say this right now, from what I'm seeing from the Democrats, Trump is not going to lose.
Right. 2020
is going to look bad for the Democrats unless something really drastic happens. Because they're a disaster right now.
Yep.
And they're one of their planks, in addition to infanticide, and okay, good luck with that, is that they don't like Jews.
Right.
I mean, the people that are now speaking the most for the Democrat Party are people like Omar and Tlaib, Louis Farrakhan, Linda Sarsour. And these are all confirmed vicious anti-Semites.
Right.
So if you're Bibi, you're going, you know what? You could call me the Israeli Trump if you want. And you mean that as a racist, or that as an insult. He's over there. I don't care. I don't care at all. The last time superpowers I'm trying to do a BB.
It's
thing.
not bad.
Is it not bad?
Yeah.
He's tricky though. Last time superpowers began acting like hating Jews was up for debate, my people ended up on business end of the Holocaust. Yeah, and you don't think that's going to inform every single thing you're going to do.
Right.
And now he's in his 5th term. Gloves are off, kids.
Hey, the fallout from the Mueller investigation is landing closer to the Democrats than they had planned.
Oh, noes. Oh, noes.
I know. Obama administration White House counsel Greg Craig has been indicted on multiple counts by a federal grand jury. Craig is charged with lying to special counsel Robert Mueller about work he did on behalf of the government of the Ukraine.
So there was collusion. The Democrats were close. They were only off by one country and one president.
Yeah, that's right.
Greg Craig is a slug with a briefcase. I mean, that's the reason. He's one of those guys, and that's why people don't like lawyers.
Yes.
I'm starting to get why Shakespeare said what he said about him. Now, they're not all attorneys are bad people, but Craig he's a real grub. Right, and all of this is going on. The hubris here that Obama and his people didn't think that this might come back. Whenever Greg got involved with the Ukrainians, no wonder they were so riled about the Mueller report. But now you're starting to get us. They're starting to back off it because they started going after Trump's tax returns again.
Right.
And part of it is because they didn't get the collusion story they wanted from Mueller. But I think a part of it is that there's stuff that's going to be coming out, whether it be through WikiLeaks and Assange or whatever. I think there's stuff coming out from the Mueller report, and Greg Craig, boom, Obama guy indicted because of the Mueller investigation. I think stuff's going to be coming out in the next couple of months that I think Joe Biden's going to get tied to that Ukraine thing. And when that happens, there goes their number one guy.
Right.
Well, at the very least, they're going to have to try and kill the narrative, which they're doing now.
Right.
Yeah, they're out there talking, we need to talk, forget about the collusion thing. We're going to talk about Trump's tax return. They're like, yeah, you guys tried that a while back, and it didn't go well. Well, of course, they've got to, though, because their people are tied up in it, and they don't want, a bunch of the Democrats do not want to see Obama's people getting perp walked, into courtrooms around the country in the next couple of weeks, especially not going toward next election. But I think that may be coming. And, hey, kids, you cooked a nothing burger. Now you got to eat it.
Hey, as Attorney General William Barr hints at opening an investigation into potential Obama-era federal government spying on then-candidate Donald Trump's 2016 campaign, liberals are furious over the use of the word spying.
That's what's upsetting them. Yeah, all the stuff there, and that's what they got on.
Among those leading the word-parsing platoon, Senator Richard Blumenthal, who demanded Barr retract his characterization.
Hey, Dick, you're not the boss of him.
Nope.
You are not the boss of him. But you'll notice Blumenthal did not address the fact that there's more evidence of Obama-era spying on Trump's 2016 campaign than there is of his service in Vietnam. And this is another narrative shift that they're trying because the media is freaking out about it. I can't believe Barr said spying.
Blumenthal was joined in the peanut gallery by ex-FBI
there he is.
honcho James Comey, who explained that he never thought of electronically surveilling someone without their knowledge as spying.
Yeah, sure, Jimmy. Robbing a bank is just robbing a bank is just, you're borrowing a couple of bucks for the weekend.
Yeah.
I'm making an unscheduled withdrawal.
Yeah. Senator Cory that's easy for me to say, isn't it?
Just go with Spartacus, dude.
Okay, Spartacus has announced he intends to form a commission to study the idea of paying African Americans reparations for slavery.
Paying them what?
Reparations.
Man, Spartacus has got you all knotted up here.
Man, he sure does. The idea of forcing white people to give money to black people for something that happened before any of them were alive is becoming a central issue for the Democrats' 2020 strategy.
Oh, good. So, infanticide, anti-Semitism, and a white people tax. Well, that's brilliant right there. It's going to... At this rate, and Spartacus is not, I don't even think T-Bone's got a shot at the nomination.
No.
Spartacus is not going to win.
No.
And I'm sure he push the edge and say, like, okay, I'm going to get my crazies whipped up. They're going to lead, and then he can come in and go, Oh, well, what I meant to say was we really don't. It's just a study.
Right.
Because it's a bone he can throw the crazies on the far left who actually think that guys like you and I should be forced to cough over some fork over some jack to some dudes, whoever, Mustafa and Deshaun or whoever the hell it's going to be. And they think that should happen. There are quite a few on the far left that actually think that.
Yeah.
So he throws that bone to them. We're going to study it. And then when normal humans go, you're kidding me, right? He goes, oh, it's just a study. It's just a study. That's an old trick. I know. Let's tax white people based on the color of their skin. Oh, that's brilliant.
Well, Congressman Eric Swalwell threw his name into the Democrats' 2020 candidate pool last week.
Where he promptly drowned.
The congressman who famously threatened to use nuclear weapons.
He did do that.
Against legal gun owners who refused to surrender their firearms.
He did do that.
Promised to make his campaign all about gun control. Just take the $15 million that are out there and buy them back.
That's a direct quote. That is a direct quote. Just take the $15 million that are out there and buy them back. Putting aside Swalwell's math, because I can tell you right now, weapons that he considers confiscation worthy include pretty much everything that's not like a blunderbuss.
Right.
He doesn't specify, and when you put someone like that in charge, if someone like that were to be in charge of determining what qualifies as a dangerous weapon, what would be bought back, I mean, it's going to be up to him.
Right.
You don't leave people like that with subjective decisions to make because they routinely make bad ones.
Right. Right.
I mean, this is a dude who said, we'll use nuclear weapons if we have to. Just the idea that you could throw that off as like a little gag. You're running for president. Hey, man, we're going to take the guns. My cold dead fingers. No, actually, they'll be your hot dead fingers because I'm going to nuke you. I mean, actually, we have nuclear weapons. Who's we?
Yeah.
His
campaign.
But putting aside his lowball math, because I will tell you right now, the weapons that he thinks would qualify for his forced buyback program,
right?
There are a lot more than 15 million of them.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
And I want to get bogged down in the whole thing about, but the criminals won't acknowledge it anyway, because we all know all of that. We all know the heart of the gun control argument is hollow.
Right.
That it doesn't work. It won't work. It will criminalize people defending themselves from criminals.
Right.
And all that stuff we could say that as a given and simply focus on what he's talking about. You see, there are way too many of those firearms for you to actually get them all back. And there's no way you're going to be able to do it because the people who would be required to actually do the confiscating, in a lot of cases, are going to refuse.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're going to go, what? You go to there are towns in which you might be able to pull it off, but there are going to be a huge number of places where local law enforcement is going to say, I am not confiscating. I am not rolling a SWAT team into my neighbor's yard.
Right.
Or in some cases, their own yards, because some of these guys have their own weapons on the side.
I'm sure.
So you can't use local law enforcement, so you can use the feds. Yeah, that's a genius move.
Right,
also, you've got a constitutional issue there. You can't use the military unless you decide you're just going to put posse comitatus aside.
Right.
And let's be honest, Eric Swalwell. Can you imagine Eric Swalwell going to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs and going, all right, I want you to deploy blah, 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 X units over here, and I want you guys, you get your guys out there and round up the guns. The Joint Chiefs are going to go, yeah. That's funny when you told me to do that because you're an idiot.
Yep.
But there's nobody on the Joint Chiefs right now, nobody in amongst all the Joint Chiefs of Staff who would say yes to that order.
Right.
And then, that would be a complete disaster. But it is just Eric Swalwell, however. I mean, this guy announces and tens of people are excited. It's like tens. Yay.
Hey, well, he may be a long shot, but some prominent Democrats are facing even steeper odds.
Uh-oh.
Celebrity lawyer Michael Avenatti's rumored 2020 campaign may be hard to run from inside a prison cell.
Oh.
The attorney famous for representing and then getting fired by alleged Donald Trump paramour Stormy Daniels, facing a 36-count federal indictment. Among the charges, he built clients out of millions of dollars.
Damn, boy, 36 counts. One of the clients, by the way, was a mentally ill person who's a paraplegic. And the word is, that allegedly, that he tricked the person into signing away a chunk of dough or whatever.
Right.
We were joking, hey, man, you're going to go from advertising on park benches to sleeping on one? You're going to miss that park bench, buddy.
Yep, not anymore.
Yeah, your cellmate's not going to care how good a lawyer you are. But you know what? There's good news for him, though, because Kim Kardashian has started a 4-year internship in California so she become a lawyer. She will be the perfect attorney for him. Wouldn't she be the perfect attorney for Michael Avenatti?
Sure.
Nobody on the stage has any real knowledge of the law.
Right.
So, sure. Yeah. She'll argue her client into the electric chair. Be like, having successfully pled you into capital punishment. The first guy ever to get the needle for just ripping people off.
Right.
It's like, this is a new moment. I have no objection to Kardashian. You know, her old man was a lawyer.
Right.
He was OJ's lawyer briefly.
Right. Yep.
I have no objection to Kim Kardashian being a lawyer. I have no objection to her sister is a billionaire now. One of the youngest female billionaire in American history.
Right.
I'm fine with it. I mean, yeah, they're ridiculous people, and they all got their start basically because Kim Kardashian made a sex tape.
Right.
But if you can take a accidentally leaked sex tape and turn it into a multi-billion-dollar empire, baby, that's capitalism right there.
Yeah, it is.
I am fine with that.
Right.
Who would you rather be represented by, Kim Kardashian or Ilhan Omar? And it wasn't that long ago where you would have laughed and said, well, obviously it's Omar. But then you hear Omar talk and you think, or Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I mean, if you had a choice between one of the Kardashians or Chiquita Khrushchev, you're going to take a Kardashian. Because at the very least, you know, it'll be entertaining. You may end up in the electric chair, but it'll be entertaining.
It'll be a good time.
Nothing that happens to Michael Avenatti, short of him being, I don't know, physically brutalized, because we're not supposed to root for that sort of thing.
Right.
Nothing that happens to him will bother me at all.
Nope.
I do not care. I mean, suck it, buddy, is my feeling.
I agree. Hey, following the collapse of their Trump-Russia collusion narrative, the Democrats have pivoted back to demanding President Trump's tax returns.
This is sad. What did I say last week? They didn't have a plan B.
Nope.
They obviously didn't. They really banked it all.
Let's go back.
They threw the whole wad on a roll of the dice with the Russian collusion narrative. It has completely collapsed. It's going to get worse, as we just talked about a minute ago. It looks like that some Obama people may get swept up in that nonsense.
Right.
And they're out there right now going, well, let's talk about Trump's tax returns. And I'm like, did you not watch what happened to Rachel Maddow? Remember that? She comes out, she's like, we got the returns. And she had like a photocopy of a page of something from like 2004, which ended up proving that Trump actually paid more in taxes than they thought.
Right.
And you guys want to go back to this? That's fine. I don't really care. Bernie is saying he's going to release his taxes next week, and he's all, it's going to show him a millionaire, so as if somehow that's something to be ashamed of.
Right.
It's not unless your career is built on saying it is.
Right.
Like Bernie has.
Yes.
And it's like, I'm a millionaire and I got 3 houses, but screw you. But I don't care about Bernie's tax returns either. I don't care about Trump's tax returns. I don't care about your tax returns. I don't care about anybody. As long as you have not violated the law, I don't give a damn about your taxes.
I agree.
I don't think you should have had to pay them in the first place, so I really don't care to see the paperwork.
Right.
I mean, I'm not quite libertarian enough to say all taxation is theft, because I do understand that there are public works that are better handled.
Right.
Although we just learned from we've been learning from SpaceX that even NASA can get beat by private industry. But that having been said, I am a lot less interested in the tax returns of someone who got rich before seeking public office than I am in the tax returns of someone who got rich while serving in public office.
Yep.
Bernie Sanders is a millionaire. Dude has never had a real job. Nancy Pelosi is one of the wealthiest women in America. These are people, now granted, her husband's got a pile of dough.
Right.
Which is a whole nother thing. It's like, I thought you were a strong woman, but really you just, your husband did all the heavy lifting for you.
Somebody's got to finance it.
Well, but seriously, they say being wealthy is bad. Bernie is warning people that his tax returns will indicate that he is a millionaire, as if that is somehow something to be ashamed of.
Right.
And they want Trump's tax returns. I don't care about any of their tax returns. Trump was fabulously wealthy long before he ever considered running for public office. Bernie didn't ever do anything before he was a lawyer and he went on vacations to the Soviet Union was like his thing.
Right.
And then he got elected and he's a multimillionaire. Did you hear what he said?
Right.
someone was like, how do you justify the hypocrisy of you being a millionaire while saying being a millionaire is something of which you should be ashamed? He's like, well, write a best-selling book and you could be a millionaire too. Hey, dumbass, that's capitalism.
Yep.
Did you break the law? No? Good. We're moving on. That's it.
Yep.
Right? I mean, that should be it. I'm a lot led, but if we're going to do it where everybody has to look at everybody's tax returns, I want to see how Bernie Sanders got to be a millionaire without ever working a real day job.
I agree.
I'm just putting that out there.
I agree. Hey, federal authorities have apprehended Muslim activist Rondell Henry, 28, of Germantown, Maryland.
This freaking guy.
Before he could use a stolen rental van to conduct an ISIS-style attack on pedestrians similar to the one a Muslim activist used to murder nearly 100 and injure nearly 500 in Nice, France in 2016.
Yeah, it was gonna hit the National Harbor in Baltimore was his plan.
Yep.
The thing about this story is not that it is that yet another Muslim was, because they're always, white supremacists are the terrorists in this country. I'm like, yet another Muslim got that close to pulling off something huge, but we're not supposed to talk about it. The story is already out of the media.
Right.
If when Charlotte, that wingnut in Charlottesville ran into the crowd and killed the girl.
Right.
All right. That is still a story from time to time.
Right.
They will still bring that story. That guy got, they tried to convict or whatever. That still comes up. I haven't heard Rondell Henry's name since about 20 minutes after they caught it. They announced that they'd caught him.
Right.
Because it doesn't fit the narrative. And I mean, that to me says everything you need to know about the way the different political spheres in this country react to stuff like this. White guy who can be, even if he's not, can be linked to Trump, white people, conservatives, Republicans, whatever. He does something insane and horrible. It was a terrorist attack as far as I'm concerned. He only killed that one girl, but there was one more than should have died that day.
Right.
Okay, so I will call that a terrorist attack. Sure I will. And screw that guy. But that guy is a story every single freaking day that they can make it a story even now.
Right.
But Rondell Henry's name disappeared like that.
Yep.
If Rondell Henry had been a white guy from Alabama with a Confederate flag on his rental van, that would be above the fold, bold face, 72-point, huge print on every paper every day for at least a month.
Right.
But he was a Muslim, so.
Oh well.
We don't have to worry about inflaming the Muslims. We don't want to incite anything by pointing out that the Muslims seem to have some issues behaving themselves from time to time. But if a white guy screws up, then all white people are terrorists.
You're right.
Because of course.
The libs aren't done finding reasons to keep the butt hurt going.
That's all they got these days.
I said butt hurt.
They butt hurt. Get some butt paste.
They also lit into Trump over a year-old clip of him calling MS-13 thugs animals, claiming his characterization dehumanizes members of the notorious narco-terrorist cartel.
Yeah, dehumanize them. These guys rape and murder toddlers for sport.
Right.
First of all, they took the whole thing out of context because they left out who he was. They were like, Trump called immigrants animals. No, Trump called MS-13 animals.
Right.
And tell me how that's wrong. At what point do you look at guys like that and say, no, there's humanity there? There's not. There's not. All jokes aside, there is nothing about MS-13 that rises to the level of human.
Nope.
You do a tenth of the stuff that they do. And as far as I'm concerned, you've forfeited your membership card. Don't call MS-13 animals because it dehumanizes them.
Right.
Say they've done a fairly good job handling that on their own.
They're doing pretty good.
So as we sit here right now, as we wrap up the last pod on the right, here at laststopontheright.com and KLRN Radio and even iTunes, remind you that their platform now is infanticide, anti-Semitism, anti-white rhetoric, and MS-13. Brilliant.
What a great plan.
This is going to be 2020, if it happened right now, would be a beatdown like you haven't seen. It would be like the Patriots playing the Browns cheerleaders in the Super Bowl.
Nice.
It would be that bad.
Nice. I'd watch that.
Can you imagine selling that out? They're in their little bubbles on the coasts.
Right.
Or their urban bubbles in Detroit and Chicago, Minneapolis, where they've built these perfect little Democrat districts that are inviolable, essentially.
Right.
I talk to friends. We talk to people, whether they're involved with the last pod or just friends of the show or whatever, and they consistently say, I cannot believe that these guys are doing this. And I keep saying, don't point it out to them.
Yeah, don't stop them.
Yeah. Hey, man, listen. Go right ahead.
Yep.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a sip of this Everclear. Then I'm going to light a match. Like, this is already a bad idea, and I love it.
I love it. It's perfect.
I love it.
Here, let me get you a match.
So, kids, you got big plans for the weekend?
Sure.
Yeah?
Not really.
No? Going to watch the Masters if it doesn't get rained down?
Yes, absolutely.
Who you betting on?
Ricky. I want Ricky Fowler.
You want Ricky Fowler?
Yeah, I just like to see him win.
I'm rooting for Tommy Fleetwood. Because, not that I particularly care about any of these guys at this point. I'm like, I like the fact that there's a guy out there, and the PGA Tour, they are all pretty cookie cuttery to an extent.
Right.
Nobody really gets to. Ian Poulter will wear the goofy pants once in a while or whatever.
Right.
But I mean, these guys all have about the same haircut and they have about the same wardrobe, and they kind of have to because of the nature of the sport. And then you get Fleetwood out there who looks like a bum roadie for like a off-brand metal act, who just like woke up on a bench outside the clubhouse and like, I think I'm going to play some golf today. I'm rooting for that guy because bums,
come here,
bums unite. Kids, we have had a great time today, as always. So glad you could have joined us here at the Last Pod on the Right, whether it was through the laststopontheright.com. You can find us on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at Bennett Truth, 2 E's, 2 N's, 3 T's.
Not all in a row.
Mikey is getting on Twitter this weekend. Have you decided what your Twitter handle is going to be?
No, not yet.
What about like ye old grumpy guy? Ye oldie Twittery? Just put E's on the end of everything?
Shut up.
We also have a Facebook. Yeah, okay. We also get in line, buddy.
Yeah, I know.
We also have a Facebook group dedicated to the show.
We do.
Last Stop on the Right Facebook group. Of course, the site laststopontheright.com.
Yep.
Also, super huge thank you to Rick and the gang at KLRN Radio. They have, against what I would have thought would have been a bunch of warning flags, have added us to their lineup. So we're enjoying being a part of your day and encourage you to go check out the great shows they have.
Yep.
They have some excellent programs.
They do.
It's not all like this.
No.
There's some good
Yes.
There's some good stuff on there. Whether you were with us through social media, the website, laststopontheright.com, KLRNRadio.com, or you just stumbled across it because you were bored and had nothing better to do, which is a more common refrain we hear from people than you might think.
You're right.
We were glad you were here with us the whole time. Right here at the Last Pod on the Right. I'm Ben Crystal.
I'm Mike Gable.
And we will see you about a week's time. Until then, have a good one, kids. We out.
Sleep.